Hi friends! Today we're talking about getting ready for kidding. We've already done the early preparations, ordering tags, making sure we have the needed supplies on hand, and now it's time to get everything organized and in place so we're ready when that first kid is born soon. We'll talk about the details, the little things that make caring for kids and keeping good records easier, and the things that keep frustration away, which helps us all win in the long run. Over the years, I've found this detailed preparation makes a huge difference in the overall success of our kidding season. Let's get to it. Hey friends, welcome to the Get Goatwise podcast. Are you longing to raise goats and other animals for food but don't know where to start? Do you want to be more self-sufficient and less dependent on the grocery store? Do you wish you had a mentor to walk you through raising livestock? Hi, I'm Millie, animal scientist, cattle girl turned goat rancher, co-owner of Dry Creek Livestock, and simple living enthusiast. For 15 years, I've been on a mission to raise all of our own meat, eggs, and dairy. Here, we'll talk about raising goats and other homestead livestock, how to create sustainable animal management systems that actually work, and a bit of off-grid life with kids and livestock. If you're ready to take control of your food supply, raise livestock with confidence, and provide your family with the most nourishing meat, eggs, and dairy available, you're in the right place. Kick off your muck boots, pour a cup of coffee, and let's talk livestock. Hey there! Just a quick reminder that the giveaway for one of our farmhouse favorites meat bundles ends on June 1st. So if you haven't entered yet, head on over to drycreekheritagemeats.com/podcast special to get entered. We're giving away a 20-pound box of beef and pork shipped right to your door. I'm excited to get this box of nutritious, delicious meat onto one of your tables soon. Due to the perishable nature of the product, though, this can only be shipped to the lower 48 states. What's happening on the ranch? Early irrigation water has ended, and now we're on water turns. I drove over the mountain yesterday, and there's still several feet of snow up there, so hopefully our irrigation water will last at least until the 1st of July. I mixed up 450 pounds of goat mineral. I'm selling more of that than I ever intended. Goats are thriving on it, and goat owners want it, so I keep making it. I've been asked if I ship it, and the answer has always been no. But now that I have a third-party shipper, that is an option. So if you're interested in that, send me an email. We have 2 bottle calves now. They're doing great, and I've started milking the goats to feed them. It's amazing how well all animals do on fresh goat milk. I got 18 more chicks, a barnyard mix straight run. Straight run means they're not sorted as males and females, so I can expect that roughly half of them will be roosters. Later on this fall, it looks like we'll be harvesting roosters, which isn't bad at all, since we aren't raising meat birds this year. The chicks are healthy and active and doing well. I also picked up a new rooster, which I absolutely did not need, but he'll be a great addition for some genetic diversity in our chickens. I spent 4 days away from the ranch last week, and that is tiring and hard to catch up from, but it was all for good things. The first was a big trip with lots of stops, everything from the orthodontist to chicks to livestock salt. In all, 3 states and 350 miles that day. The next day we loaded up and headed to show camp for 3 days. I love show camp. If you have kids that are showing lambs, goats, or steers, look up YGB livestock camps. This was our 6th year going, and it's always amazing. The best thing about being gone for a few days is that I have a fresh perspective when I get back. I walked through the does today, and most of them are bagged up, meaning the udder is visibly expanding to prepare to feed their kids. So that's exciting and a reality check that I need to get everything ready as soon as possible. In my quick walkthrough, I only saw a few that are probably not going to kid, and if they do, they'll be later, which means our breed up is looking good so far. The actual due date for these goats is June 2nd at the earliest, but I know from past years to expect the first kids to be born 3 to 5 days before the due date. So that puts us as early as Wednesday, May 28th. So it's definitely time to get everything prepared. What will I be getting ready over the next few days? Well, outside, we need to check the perimeter fence around the pasture that encloses the barn. We have held back 40 acres of grass right around the barn so that the goats can kid near us, near our facilities, while on green grass. Before we can turn them out, though, we need to make sure we have some things protected. We need to get electric fence around the steer pens and their feeders, so the goats aren't in with the steers and eating their hay. And we need to protect our hay that is still in bales in storage. And we need to protect our living area where I finally want to get a tiny yard growing this year because the goats would completely destroy that. Once those things are completed, we will get the does turned out on grass along with the replacement does. We'll do this over a few days to not make a drastic and sudden change to their diet. We'll just increase the amount of time they get on grass each day until they're fine to be on grass all day long. And that way they'll be able to kid on pasture. Ideally, they would be on grass for a couple weeks before kidding, and some of them will be, but the early ones won't. Life happens, and we're doing the best with what we've got. In the barn, we'll set up 2 or 3 pens. We only use these when we have a problem. We'll use them when we have a doe that needs assistance, that needs help getting her kids out, or a doe that's not mothering her kids, or in the rare occasion that we have a mixed up doe-kid pairing. Sometimes they will kid close to each other and they claim each other's kids. And that can be a bit of a problem. We can also use the pens for anything that just seems like it's not doing well, and we need to watch a little closer. Last year, I think we used 4 pens the entire kidding season, so it was really successful. We also need to set up the bottle kid pen. That will be mostly for when we have triplets, we'll take 1 kid off that will bottle feed, but there may also be some bummed kids. The next thing I need to get ready is the kidding bucket. And I've talked about that in detail in episode 52, so you can get a complete list of everything in the bucket and the stuff that I also have nearby and ready in case we need it. But this immediate preparation in the kidding bucket is really detailed. I'm going to change the batteries in the scale. Every year, it quits on me as soon as I'm weighing a kid with an overprotective mom who may or may not try to take me out. So I'll just make sure I have fresh batteries now and not have to worry about that later. I'm going to get the tags sorted and ready for the first batch of kids. 1 box of orange tags and 1 box of yellow tags, including blank tags to write mom numbers on, and a fresh tag marking pen in each box, and then I'll refill the boxes every couple of days or whenever they're getting low. Next, I'll check the tag applicator gun and make sure it's functioning well, that the pin is not broken, and that the clip holds, and that everything aligns really well. Then I will check the Nolvasan spray bottle that we use for tagging, make sure it's spraying like it should after a winter in the barn. Then I'll put the spray nozzle on the Triodine and make sure it works. And then also in the bucket, I'll make sure that the bands and bander are there, gloves, hoof shears, the tag cutter, and a snare. I've already made sure the medications and supplies are ready to go, and you can check out episode 52 for those details. Hopefully those things are not needed, but they are ready if we do need them. Next, I will get the paperwork ready. I need to make the final selection on the does we want to keep potential buck prospects out of and make a list in the kidding notebook so we know which buck kids not to band. I also need to prep that kidding notebook, including a template of needed information in case someone else is doing the record keeping. I know this sounds ridiculous, but I need to make sure there's lead in the mechanical pencil that is attached to the kidding notebook. If I don't, someone will try to write notes with dirt or a marking crayon when the lead runs out, and it will be a giant mess. I also like to have a rubber band around the notebook to keep pages from flying and flapping around when writing notes in the wind. It's just another small detail that makes a world of difference, especially when kidding gets busy and things get tense. Possibly the most important and most forgotten preparation, I need to switch up my schedule to include daylight and dusk goat checks, daytime checks every couple hours, milking time, and lots of flexibility. The goats get to rearrange my schedule as much as they want to during kidding, and building in that flexibility as much as possible makes for a lot less stress and a much more enjoyable kidding season. Along with that, I'll make sure I have someone to keep an eye on goats if I'm going to be gone for more than a couple hours. I hope this episode gives you a quick view of what preparing for kidding is like around here. We're a lot simpler than we used to be as far as preparation. We're still ready for almost any intervention that may need to take place, but our day-to-day kidding is pretty low intervention because of our management system, and that makes for a nice kidding season nearly every year. If you have any questions, head on over to the community and start a conversation. That's at getgoatwise.com/community. See you next week. Hey there, thanks for listening today. I'm so glad you're here. If this episode helped you or encouraged you in some way, share the link with your homesteading friends. And if you really want to help me out, click on over to Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and a review. You can connect with me on Instagram or email linked in the show notes, and meet me back here soon for more Get Goat Wise.